Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. It's time to go live again. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Miss Starks, Mr. Unknown, Mandisa, Brittany. Hello, Jazzy Jeff, Kim. Hello, Rodney. Hello, hello, as you're coming on. Today's topic, hello, Cleaning Services Reading UK. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, guys. How's the energy feeling, sis? I'm doing good. Thank you. Hello, beautiful. Hello. Your name is Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hi. Hi, Brittany. Smiley baby. Hello, hello. All right, guys, as you're coming on, today's topic is one that I get a lot of people write to me about this. Hey, Michelle. Hey, baby. Hello, hello. Hey, Tina. A lot of people write to me about this topic. And fellas, I'm just going to let you know right now, you're not going to like this topic. So by no means am I saying that men are liars. However, today's topic is why men lie. Why men lie. And guys, so let me start off this conversation. Hey, lovely. Hi, sweetheart. Hey, Kim. Hey, baby. Let me start off this conversation with something that I have to do as kind of like a preface to this. So on a scale, like a sliding scale, guys, for men, okay, from like your greatest, biggest hearted, great guy, good guy, all the way up to narcissist, abuser, violent, horrible man. Okay, it's a sliding scale. Hi, sweetheart. Right? So it's like a sliding scale, but you've got like, let's just say from all the way from good, great man to horrible man, men lie. Okay? It's just on a scale of how bad is it. Now let me explain. Fellas, don't attack me yet. I'm going to explain where I'm going with this, but it takes some explaining. So on the case of your really, really good guys, you're going to see white lies. You're going to see, and listen, we know women lie too. Fellas, I know you're going to be like, look, Rebecca, everybody lies. Yeah, everybody lies. Look, it already came in. Women don't lie. Right. You're already coming in. Yes, people lie. All genders, everybody, every color, people lie. But men lie more. Men lie more. Now, it's not exactly all your fault because of our society. And I've touched on this before, guys. We know men are up against a lot. We know that they are held to standards, different standards than women in our society, okay? So I'm not here to beat up men. I'm not. I'm really not. But I want to answer the question, why do men lie so much more than women? Okay? I want to answer that question. Because men do, in general, do lie more than women. And I'm talking about like small things. I'm not talking about just, fellas, for my good-hearted fellas, I know I've got a great following of good-hearted men. I'm not talking about, violent, extreme, narcissistic behavior. We know that there is an extreme end to any situation, right? There's always extremes. But in general, okay, there is a lot of pressure on men to produce, to perform, to be a real man, right? To be a real man. And what that does in our society, ladies, is create pressure. Pressure. Men feel constant pressure. They feel like they are being judged constantly against this measuring stick of what is a strong man, what is a real man. A real man does this. And think about it. All the social media and books and everything feeds into that, right? They see it across social media constantly. A real man would do this. A real man would do that. Can you imagine as a man, especially when I've already said in previous videos, ladies, what do men do? Men in their ego and the pressure they feel is constantly trying to control the narrative, constantly trying to control what you think of them because they want to be respected. Respect is a core value of every single man. Ladies, you may think respect is one of your core values, but you put other things as a priority above respect. Men place respect really high up in their core values because it's part of being a man, right? Now, we know it gets twisted. We know it gets toxic in some places. We know that it's not all healthy. We know that, right? You stepped on my Jordans, man, I'm going to kick your butt, right? All that ego and, oh, you disrespected me, right? All of that. We know how crazy that can all get. But what I'm talking about today is specifically why men lie. I got an email. I can't remember your name, sweetheart, but you said, why do men tell white lies? Like not even when they really have to lie, but small white lies that why is it? Because fellas, there's a huge difference in the nature of men and women. Okay. And this is what I've observed over the years. And I'm actually going to use some reinforcements from some therapy stuff on this one too. So for instance, right? Really, really good-hearted, great guys, good men, do lies of omission, right? They don't really see it as lying because they just don't tell you everything. I know this is going to be relatable for women, right? They just don't tell you quite everything. They hold things back again. Why? Because they're trying to control the narrative, because they want to be respected. This still goes hand in hand with all of the healing issues. It goes hand in hand with why we're trying to create a healing movement, right? Because men are made to feel as if I tell you everything, you're going to judge me. You're going to disrespect me. You're not going to believe in me. You're not going to support me, right? You're not going to stay with me. You're not going to love me. Lies of omission. They're just not telling you everything, which is how, ladies, you find yourself in situations with even really, really good guys that you're dating, get to know them, commit, and even get married. And it's only then that things start kind of slipping through the cracks. You start learning some stuff because he didn't exactly tell you everything up front. Right? Lies of omission. Whereas women are talking. We have like women, we don't control this mouth of ours. We'll tell you everything. We just be talking. And we just blah, blah, blah. Right? Right? We'll tell you everything. We're running our mouths. Do they control the narrative to keep from being vulnerable? Yes. Yes, they literally are controlling the narrative at all times, trying to protect their ego, their heart, their fears, their doubts, all of the above. And you have to understand that men are coming from generation after generation, following their fathers, grandfathers' footsteps in their temperament and how they did things, right? I've heard from men all over the world. Rebecca, my grandfather was a serial cheater, right? It was just a way of life in my family and the men in my family. My uncles, my grandfather, all the men in my family are just serial cheaters. And even if the women don't know, this is what we know as men of what's really going on. Not that they don't leave their wives, not that they don't work hard, but they're serial cheaters. And I've heard from men saying, I'm struggling to break this. I know that this is not the kind of man I want to be, but this is what's been role modeled and taught to me generation after generation. Imagine being from the time you're a little boy and you always see your uncles with other women. You're seeing your daddy with another woman. You're seeing your grandfather with another woman. The men in the family know, right? Hard to break. Boys learn this stuff from the men in their lives, right? Over time. Somebody said good men are the ones to really vet extra left because we see how nice they are. We become blinded by it. Right. Right? So men are much more strategic than women. Men are much more careful about what comes out of their mouths. They've learned this over their entire life to protect their heart, protect their mind, protect their ego, protect their reputation, protect what you think of them. They learned from the time they were young. They're not just running off at the mouth, y'all. While you up here talking, he's listening. But as he's talking and sharing, he's being very careful and he's select. As a matter of fact, what I've learned about men over time is it becomes innate. They don't even realize that's right. They don't even realize that they're calculating. They don't even realize that they're strategic. It is like second nature, ladies. It's not even like, so on the good-hearted, good men spectrum, it's not calculated. It's not manipulative. It's literally second nature. This is just how you are, how they are. It is not evil. It is not wicked. It's not coming from a misleading place. Okay? Then you've got the other extreme where it is wicked. It is calculating. It is, right, where they're really, really just trying to mislead you. Outright lying, right? Max says, protect our image. I'm very calculated in what I say and how I say it. You're so right. Yep. And you've learned to be that way, Max, over many, 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 many years. Many years, right? And they don't realize it, Brittany, right? Especially the lies of omission until you call them out on it. Somebody says, so true. The fear of being disrespected and rejected keeps a lot of men from being open and honest. Okay, so we understand that there's all this pressure that men feel, which is why there's so much lies. Whether it's white lies, lies of omission, all the way up through complete denial, complete, misleading you completely, bold-faced lying to your face. I wanted to give you guys something I haven't said really publicly. So my therapist, who is older than me, she's a wise, older woman. She's been a therapist for 30 years, 20 plus years, in therapy, actually giving people therapy, couples, women, men, for years. So she is that influence on me of that wisdom, right? Life experience. She's a therapist, but she's also like a life coach. And one day we were having a conversation in one of my therapy sessions and we began to get on this subject. She said, if I were a woman in the 21st century dating right now, I would not marry a man until I did a background check on him and maybe even a private investigator. This is a Christian woman, loves God, guys, amazing faith-based therapist. And she said over the years, everything that she has seen on her couch, in her office, because of the degrees that men go to lie and protect ego, that she would not even get married today without getting a background check on somebody to just make sure that they are who they say they are. She said she literally countless amounts of clients where the new wife is in her office on her couch crying her eyes out because the man who said that he was financially stable is in debt up to his eyeballs on the brink of bankruptcy. The man who said that he's a man of God and faithful was cheating all the way up until I do. Right? Now they having struggles in the marriage because he been lying all the way through. The man who said he only had one child or two children has 4. The man who said, right, he'd never been married before. I don't know what just happened. My video clicked off. And I'm saying what she's saying to me. She's a therapist who's worked with thousands of clients over many, 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 many years. And she's saying the consistency, and like we said, varying degrees. It's a sliding scale. The greatest guys, just lies of omission, isn't exactly telling you everything, isn't telling you the extent of the baby mama drama, isn't telling you the extent, right? Since 82 is raising his hand like, oh, help us, Lord, right? Literally, she ran this down for me. And this is an older woman, like I said, very experienced therapist who's given therapy to thousands of people. And as I listened to her, I stopped and I thought about all of my coaching clients and my coaching experiences. Guys, like I say, it's on a spectrum, but that's what it is, a spectrum. It is good guys with, lies of omission and white lies all the way up to outright lying. And when I think about my clients, my coaching clients who are trying to vet as they're dating, one lady met a man. He said he had 3 children. He had 9. Another coaching client, she was falling in love, dating a man, kind of having some, her intuition kept feeling like something was off. Something's off. She goes to his house for a visit. There's some champagne glasses in the dishwasher and she hadn't been over. What man is drinking out of champagne glasses? Wine glasses when you ain't with your woman, right? Sure enough, she hired a private investigator. Right literally before she's coming over, another woman was leaving. As she began to, literally the private investigator brought her back photos and everything. As this man is literally in a committed relationship with her. Supposedly leading towards something significant. Right? Brittany says, I've experienced so many of these lies, you just don't know people, but I would think that it was worse before social media didn't exist and you couldn't verify people. Listen, guys, it's not even about, because you have to remember, there's a lot of women who aren't going to go do any man facts. They're not going to check any of this, right? Think about it. Have you Googled? When's the last time you met somebody and you Googled them? When's the last time you went and did a research on somebody when you met them? Think about all the years in your dating where you just took someone at their word because that's how it used to be and what you could do. But that's also why women found themselves in horrible situations. That's right. The sneakiest men aren't on social media. The sneakiest men aren't putting anything out there for you to find. Oh, I just don't like social media. I'm not really big on social media. That's a catch-22. Catch-22. Because that's the way he's able to not get things mixed up and cross wires with the different people and situations you got going on. Right? So at the end of the day, guys, we have to understand as women that men have a totally different nature. And this is even your really, really good guys. Like I'm saying, you're really good guys. And I said this, was it yesterday or the day before? It's not what you know that comes around to bite you in the butt in a relationship. It's what you don't know. It's what he hasn't shared. And listen, guys, there's a lot of this when it comes, you never know what kind of man you're dealing with until you find out. And the truth is that some of these guys, you could ask them questions straight. Another situation, another woman I know meets a man through her work, through some, professional channels, meets a guy. He's asking her out. She finally is agreeing to go out with him. Kind of like the day before the date, she messages him and says, you're like single, right? Like you are single, right? Like completely single. There's nobody that is thinking you are their boyfriend before I get ready to go out with you, right? It's not her first rodeo. Oh, he comes back. Oh, I was afraid you were going to ask that question. What? This is what you're dealing with, guys. This is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with men who are and here's the thing. It's easy for women to say, oh, he's not happy. You know, he's not happy in his situation. Because of course he's going to say, well, you know, we haven't been happy for a long time. That's what this guy said when she called him out. And he's like, well, I was hoping you wouldn't answer that question. Yeah, you know, I've been with someone for a while, but we haven't been happy for a long time. You know, we're on the rocks. Da 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 da. More lies. Do you know how many of those situations, guys, that I've been in the middle of and learned that the woman in that situation, the girlfriend, could be thinking this is the best relationship she's ever been in. It is not rocky. There's nothing wrong with their relationship. He's just over here doing whatever he wants to do, spitting lies to other women while he going home every day to this other woman, making plans to marry this woman. Literally. Do you know how many clients I've had? Where the fiance is seeing someone else or got someone else on the side all the way up until the wedding. The wedding. Men compartmentalize. And I'm not saying this is all men, fellas. If it does not apply to you, I'm not talking about you. But I'm saying there are lots of men out here doing these things and getting away with it because it's just how they've always been. It's how, back again, right? Family, programming. And ladies, if you're out here going into situations with dudes without fact checking who they are, fact checking where they live, fact checking whether or not they're married, fact checking all the stuff he's telling you because my question to clients over the years, when a client would finally hire the private investigator and find out the truth, and literally one of my clients, she hired a private investigator. None of his money was real. Nothing was real. Credit score in the tank, barely above, in the black, like real, nothing about him was real. And I said to her, would you have fallen in love with him if you'd known these facts about him? And this is what's dangerous, because women, you will catch feelings for somebody based on who you think they are, right? Based on who you think they are. But if you were to know the truth, would you have even allowed yourself to catch feelings? And this is what sucks about being a woman, because you're out here looking for this knight in shining armor, right? Who's going to sweep you off your feet. And because you want that fairy tale and that fantasy, when a guy comes along saying the right things and looking the part, you're ready to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker, without fact checking anything. And now you're risking your heart, you're risking your life, you're risking your money. You up and marry somebody and don't even know who they are. Like I said, back to my therapist, saying countless, where she is having to counsel women who are sitting here married to somebody that is a complete stranger because of all the posturing, all the lies, just to get her. J Mall the MVP, I need help. I know it might be off topic, but how do I approach dating women that's 6 years older than me? The same way you would date somebody younger. Women are women, J Mall. Right? And if she likes you, J Mall, the only question and the only thing you have to determine, I've taught this to my sons, is if she's into you. If she likes you, just be yourself. My youngest son, who's 18 now, listen, he literally knows how to vet girls. He's like, Mom, it don't matter who I like. It matters who likes me. When he goes on dates, he's literally determining how much she's into him. So he's protecting himself from heartbreak, from getting too invested and too caught up in somebody who's not into him. That's what he's vetting for. So J Mall, as long as she's into you, it don't matter about age. As long as she's feeling you, as long as she likes you and she's reciprocating, it is what it is. 6 years ain't that big a difference, right? So why do men lie? That's today's topic. Why do men lie? I hope I've covered it, a little bit, right? And like I say, for the good-hearted guys, for the good guys who are out here trying to do your best, fellas, I have to say this to Carrie all the time. You have to understand that while you're this good guy who's doing the best you can, and maybe you're on that really good guy end of the spectrum, you know, who's not lying on purpose, not misleading, there's a whole lot of other men that fall towards the other end of the spectrum, right? Or the middle of the spectrum. Gotti says divorce rate around military base is 68%. I've known it for years coming from the matchmaking industry, guys, that there's certain industries, certain fields, certain cultures that just cheating is really, really high among certain fields, around certain cultures, right? And so, you know, literally your job as a woman is to protect your heart, right? Protect your money, protect your children, because you just don't know. And listen, it used to be, ladies, you needed to be protecting your little girls if you had children. Now you got to protect your boys too, because there are predators, sexual predators that will be trying to molest your children, not just your girls, your boys. Gotti says, no cap, good guys finished last. We had the highest suicide rate when I was stationed at Fort Hood, 2007. Listen, I say all the time, you know, it's not just nice guys who finish last. Nice girls finish last too, right? That's why the new book is called Nice for What, right? We have to reprogram some of this culture, reprogram some of this thinking that makes you so freaking trusting and believing everybody you meet, right? You can't, guys. You got to slow down. Slow down. You have to take your time. I mean, here's the thing. If you value yourself and value your life, you have to understand that catching feelings for somebody is dangerous. Do you ever stop and realize how you open yourself up so much, and that there is wounds and heartbreak and disappointment and stuff that you're risking when you open yourself up to get emotionally attached to someone? Guys, I mean, you need to be slowing down, taking your time, because everything that glitters isn't gold. We know that. And it just takes one bad apple for you to have a horrible experience that you have to spend so much time trying to turn your life around, trying to get yourself back, trying to heal your heart and your mind. By the way, our healing class is coming. I think we're going to release it tomorrow. It's almost done. What if the person that likes you is someone you don't see yourself marrying? Then if you're wanting to be married and you don't like them like that, then you should not be dating them. I mean, think about it. You don't want to mislead somebody that you don't really like, honey. Tanita, what's the point? You're not doing him any favors, right? Now you're becoming the manipulator. If you know you're not feeling someone, keep it moving, y'all. Don't waste people's time. Let them get all wrapped up in you, and you really know you don't like them. But why have the lies gotten worse than before? Brittany, I don't really believe that the lies have gotten worse than before. I just believe that the lies weren't necessary as much. I mean, so I guess if you think about it like that, yeah, maybe the lies have gotten worse because men have to maneuver modern dating and modern women. But it used to be men would get married and still do whatever they want. You know, so they're lying. Like the good guys are just the ones who weren't doing it openly, right? So now you've got everything's changed. Like I said, back to relationship revolution, right? Men have to lie to navigate this to get you. Just to get you, they've got to lie. So I guess if you look at it from that perspective, that's why it's gotten worse. Yeah, Lena, but we fall quick. Yep, Lady Gabby, I do believe it's wise for women to verify a man because women risk a lot in relationships. You really do. Kendra says, I'm really questioning how the hell I'm still so attracted to men. They're still really good guys, but at the end of the day, Because, you know, somebody says, according to bell hooks, the lies from men have gotten worse because they are losing their financial power over women. That's why I said that's what comes down to the relationship revolution. That's where we're at now, right now. Yep. Men are losing the power that they used to have over women, guys. And that's where you're seeing so much bitterness and toxicity and just a lot. I mean, you see it all across social media. All across social media. You have to remember when I talked about relationship revolution, you have to remember going back just a little bit in time, men had all the power. Men had all the money. Women didn't have all these rights. Women didn't have their own money. Women didn't have jobs with titles and power. Women couldn't live on their own. You were either relying on one of two men, either your daddy or a husband. That's you were always relying on a man. And most women would go from relying on their father to relying on a husband. Hi, Rebecca. Any advice on dating a man with kids too and loves his boys? I have boys too, so seems perfect. But again, a bit weary, not sure what this true story is. Should I take it super slow? You need to be taking it super slow, honey, no matter who you meet. No matter who you meet. I don't care what it looks like on paper. I don't care what game he's spitting and what's coming out of his mouth. Just remember that men are always controlling the narrative. So they're always going to paint themselves in the best way, right? They're always going to be presenting themselves as having it together in the best way possible because they are wanting you to like them. And then it's only after you emotionally commit, ladies, that they tell the truth because now they feel like you're not going anywhere. Or even marry them because now you're committed, you signed on the dotted line, you're not going anywhere. I'm having anxiety. I'm 29 and headed to 30 and scared of the danger zone because I don't have anyone, but I'm working on myself in business and don't want to be that person without a man. I mean, listen. There are good men, guys, right? When we have these conversations, remember I started off the conversation that there are good men. Men are along this spectrum. There are very good men, right? It is your responsibility to learn how to vet men and slow yourself down so that you don't get caught, right? That you don't ignore the red flags so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Gossiping at first. I wish you would come on our platform to discuss with our eyes, which is the majority of women. Send an email, hun. Right? It's your job to protect yourself. Don't leave it up to a man to protect you. Lena says, I'm married now and I should have vetted sooner. Guys, I've been married, right? In every single one of my marriages. Why do I know so much? Why do I know so much? Why do I have so much to share? Because when you have your own experiences and then you're listening to coaching clients for years, you begin to analyze, you begin to observe, you begin to put things together. What do you think about wanting the passwords from the partner? If I need Carrie's passwords, then I don't trust Carrie. And that feeling that I don't trust Carrie is a problem. If I'm worried about what you're doing, then we got a problem. And it's either one of two things. You're either dealing with pain and insecurities from your previous experiences, and you could be with a good guy who's not doing anything, but your anxiety, fears, phobias, insecurities are causing you, right, to not trust him. And you want passwords, which is going to drive healthy, good, great guys crazy trying to deal with you because they're paying the cost for what the other guy did. Or you really are healthy and your intuition is saying you can't trust him, that something's going on. Brittany says, why did your first marriage end if you don't mind sharing? I got married too young. We got married at like 21. We're married almost 10 years. We were not compatible. We got married because we weren't allowed to date, because you weren't allowed to have sex, right? So you got married the way I grew up in a very strict religion. You're going to get married instead of dating. So dated only a number of months before I married him. I knew in the first month that I had made a mistake. But trying to stick it out, trying to make it work, not wanting to fail at it, stayed in the marriage for 10 years. We were not compatible. We were not a match. The same exact problems we had from the first year we were married were the same exact problems we were having in the 10 years, in that 10-year mark. Not compatible. How do you handle men whose words don't match their actions? I leave them alone. You can't be out here trying to fix people, guys. Can't be out here trying to get someone to be who you want them to be. I mean, at this point, depending on your age, like unless you are like 20 right now, where everybody's broke, everybody's in college, or everybody's, figuring it out. When you're young, you're figuring it out. But when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, right? I mean, people only change because they really want to change. People only change with a lot of work. People are very set in their ways. Madeline, how can we vet men? How can we know that they are telling the truth? Background checks, Madeline, and asking questions, not allowing yourself to get so emotional that you stop being logical. And when you ask questions, pay attention to their demeanor, their body language, their eye contact to get your overall gut feeling of whether they're lying. Now, the problem comes in, Madeline, with when you already really like someone, you want to believe them. You don't ask enough questions because you're in your mind, your brain, ladies, is already fighting you. Same thing with you fellas. When you are good-hearted guys, same problems. When you really like someone, you're not asking enough questions. And then even when you do ask the questions, you don't listen to what they say. You don't really listen. When he says, oh, I'm really not looking for anything serious right now. And 3 months later, he's breaking your heart when you kept falling in love and going further in. But he told you in the first 30 days that he wasn't looking for anything serious. But because he was acting like a boyfriend, because he just wanted to sleep with you and wants the benefits of you with no commitment, you kept going. And now you're emotionally attached to somebody who doesn't want a relationship with you. And now you're in a situationship. So background checks, asking lots of questions, dating more than one person, not putting all your eggs in one basket when he has not asked you to do that. Ladies, do you ever really stop and realize how often you have committed to somebody when he didn't even ask you to do that? Like you're not talking to nobody else on the phone. You're not dating nobody else. You're not even contemplating anyone else. You just meet someone you really like and you just shut it down for him, put all your eggs in that basket, and you don't even know this dude. He ain't even asked you to go steady, right? He ain't even asked you to be committed. But you already shutting it down for him. He didn't shut it down. You shut it down. It's dangerous. Lady Gabby says, I'll be 43 in December, so fixing a man is not an option for me, which is why I'm always reinforcing holding people accountable to do their own work. That's pretty much what love is. Love in the 21st century is we are aware of each other's issues and we're going to hold each other accountable to work on the issues while we're loving each other. And the best thing you can do as a woman is just being able to find a man who's willing to do his work. You're not going to find anybody that doesn't need work. You're not going to find anybody that doesn't have issues. Everybody has issues. You just have to find someone worth it, right? And who's willing to do their work. Because that's the biggest issue with men, ladies, is finding a man willing to do the work. And then you have to make sure you're the woman that's requiring it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to be happy in a relationship. Requiring it. Pay a more. Is it best to leave after the first lie? Boyfriend lied that he was still on trip, but friends saw him at a party. I mean, I think that when you are first getting in, so he's already your boyfriend, okay? There's probably been other instances where things were not adding up, honey, and you didn't realize it, or you didn't put two and two together, or you didn't call a spade and deal with it. But now you're already committed, right? Like, these are the things you have to be vetting for before you even commit, guys. Is he where he says he's going to be? Does he call when he says he's going to? Does he show up when he says he's going to? You know, you have to be vetting for this stuff, right? Now, when you're in the relationship, it's now time to be setting standards in place to say, look, you lied. You were not where you said you were going to be. I'm not going to be in a committed relationship with a liar or with somebody who's got other things going on. So I'm just letting you know right now, that was the only strike you're getting. I'm not going for 3 strikes. Do it again, and I'm done. I'm out. Because obviously you can't be honest with me, which means you don't love me. You don't want me. Not me. You may want someone else, but you don't want me. Right? Carrie will be talking to me, and he's like, don't get these men cut, Rebecca. Right? And I'm like, honey, don't nobody want me. And definitely can't nobody handle me except Carrie Anthony Pope. Right? Like, you're not going to be for everyone. When you have standards and requirements, guys, you're not going to be for everyone. People are going to try you. And if there's somebody who wants to get over on people and you're someone who wants to have standards, it's not compatible. You're not going to sit there and literally tolerate disrespect, tolerate lies. You don't have to stay anywhere where that's happening and you're being disrespected. That's how we slowly lose ourselves in relationships, is when you tolerate that stuff and don't leave. Right? So I would say that's strike number 1. It ain't going to be no more strikes. You catch him in one more thing, it's time to be out, because this ain't going anywhere anyway. You can't marry somebody who can't be honest with where they're at. They're not ready to be in a relationship. What you lying for, boo? I mean, like, and here's the other thing for young people who are on with me. I just started realizing the other night that I do have quite a bit of, young ladies who follow me. And if you're in your early 20s, guys, I need you to understand, if you're 21, 22, 23, and you're beating these 20-something boys, boys, listen, they think they're men, 23, 24, 25, 26-year-old boys. They are not ready to be in a relationship. They are not ready to settle down, right? I'm gonna give you some real talk for my young ones, okay? For my young people who follow me. I'm gonna have a real talk. I'm gonna talk to you like I would if you were my daughter, okay? I've got boys. My sons are 18, 22, and 27. Listen, sweetheart, when you are committing to someone, and I need you to think about this, and a young man is 25 years old. Think about what he's saying when he's talking about marriage. You got a young man saying or talking about marriage and saying, this is the only vagina I'm going to have for the rest of my life. So do you think a 22, 23-year-old man, boy, is ready to commit, right? Ready to commit to one vagina for the rest of his life? For the rest of his life. Stop and think about that. Do you think at 20, 21, that you're ready to commit to one penis for the rest of your life? For one person? Life is long. If you're 20 right now, we're talking about from 20 to 75. We no longer live in our grandparents' times, guys. I'm just saying. I just need you to stop and think about that for a second. If you're a young lady who is 20, 21, 22, and you out here dating 24, 25-year-olds, honey, they don't even know who they are yet. You don't even know who you are yet, much less committing your life to someone. How do you know what's going to be a fit for you? You change so much in your 20s, guys. J-Mal the MVP. How about 29? I think 29-year-old men are just starting to come into kind of, who they are, having enough life experience to see who they are, what they want, what's a fit for them. Guys, listen. There's a reason people are waiting longer to get married, because you don't even know yourself. They still wet behind the ears, Lena Boo. Thank you. Boo, you up here get married to somebody's little 24-year-old son. 34 is good. 34 is yes. When you start getting over 30 is when you start accumulating enough life experience, enough, where you've actually studied yourself, had enough experiences to where you have gotten enough feedback and self-awareness and identity and understanding. You've found your profession, you're making money. Right? Rebecca, what do you think about 31-year-olds without father figures, just friends? I don't understand your question, sweetheart. But the longer you wait, the more baggage you accumulate. But that's why you always have to be healing, Brittany, right? That's why we have our healing course coming. It doesn't have to be baggage. It can truly just be experience and wisdom. It doesn't have to be bitterness. Doesn't have to be sadness. Doesn't have to be low self-esteem. When you heal and you process things the right way, it's truly wisdom and experience and self-awareness. It's intelligence that you've gathered through experience. It doesn't have to be baggage. It doesn't have to be, sweetheart. It can literally just be serving you to make good choices for your life. Be like, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. I know I need someone with, I used to say I had a best friend that literally was like this very steady person. She had this temperament where she was just really steady. We were both single, and it's like my best friend, she was like such a great best friend for me because I'm like a passionate, like all over the place kind of person, right? And I always said, I analyzed her one day and I was like, I need a man like her. I need a man who's like a rock, who's like steady. Like, I don't like moodiness. I know what I need that helps me be my best. When I met Carrie Pope, it was like, oh my God, like he's just so steady. You have to get to know yourself. And that comes through experience, right? That comes through knowledge. Grand voice about, I remember when I was 22 and thought I knew myself, right? I got married at 21, y'all. I got married at 18 and again at 21, because in my faith, you weren't allowed to date. Married when I was a baby. I spent all of my 20s married, guys. Didn't know what we were doing. We were clueless, trying to grow up together. Focus on yourself. Yes. Seema says, I ain't ready to commit at 51. Yeah, somebody said the frontal lobe isn't fully developed until about 25, and that's the part of the brain that controls logic. Good stuff. Men don't fully mature until about 40 on average. That's what listen. Seema just says something, honey. In my dating, guys, that's why I think that young, ladies, you should always be looking to date someone a little older than you. That's just my best dating advice. You should be looking to date someone a little older than you. Men who are a little older, it's like this perfect kind of dynamic. They love dating younger women. We love dating men who are more mature and wise, right? Yeah. Listen, it's the truth. Carrie's older than me. I love him to pieces. He loves me to pieces. It's a really great dynamic. And that'll be a separate video. I'm going to do a separate video on why women should date older men. I'm going to do a video. I went out with a guy that was maybe 5 or 6 years younger than me, and my mom told me, you are too strong for him. Yeah. My ex-husband, we were the same exact age. And I just, guys, I was running circles around him the further we got along in our marriage, because I was just too too advanced. We need to stop dating with the scarcity mentality. Yes. Listen, there's a lot of really good men. But the difference is, ladies, and I told this to a lady a few weeks ago, is that literally men, the very best men that you should be with or that you should be dating, like, you guys are rejecting them and not wanting them just out of nonsense and lack of experience, in your 20s. You think you know what you need, you think you know what you want, but it's a certain type of man that makes a good husband and father. And so we can be out here with all of these preferences, right? But that's not necessarily what makes a good husband and a good father. Seema says, I'm too strong for a lot of men. I felt like I was dragging my ex-husband. He was 7 years older. Yeah. I mean, it just depends on personality. Guys, compatibility is so much more complicated than what people think or what they like. You guys think this is all supposed to be so easy because you think it was easy for your parents and grandparents. You think it was easy. No. What did I tell you in that one video? Wives lie. People don't tell the truth of what they were going through. So you have this misconception that things are supposed to be so easy. But truth be told, previous generations didn't have these options. They just went in and then they tolerated a bunch of craziness and a bunch of mess. I think the reason why marriages lasted in the olden days was because the man was more mature and older. Incorrect. The reason that relationships lasted in the olden days, honey, is because women couldn't go nowhere. He could have been beating your ass and hitting her upside the head, and she ain't got no money to go nowhere. She got small children that she has to feed. Where's she going? Women didn't have their own money. Think about it. I go and watch the relationship revolution videos. It explains why those marriages lasted so long. They weren't all happy and healthy, guys. No. We just have a misconception of what it was like because it's never until people come out of marriages and then they tell you the truth of what they went through that then you're like, what? You were dealing with what? Right? Well, you guys put on like you had the most healthiest and happiest marriage ever. You got letting people sit up here and look at you guys as relationship goals and marriage goals, right? Men and women understood their vows back then. No, not all of them, sweetheart. Love life, digital media, no. Men were still cheating and men were doing whatever they wanted to because they had all the power. The divorce rates are higher now, Stephen, because people can exercise that option. And women have their own money and freedom and power to be able to do that. You had a lot of very unhappy marriages, guys. A lot of your grandparents and parents were not happy. Your great-grandparents, a lot of them were not happy. But they didn't have any options. Think about the financial structure. Think about the financial situations that people were in. Right? Think about it. Couldn't leave. Where are you going? Yeah. So you stayed. And then it was also a very strong culture. Divorce was so taboo. Think about it. Ain't nobody getting divorced. Yeah, not all marriages, but many. Right. I'm not saying that everybody was unhappy. I'm just saying that there was a lot of unhappy people. Yeah, married 50 years. And they tolerated each other. Don't you ever see in the shows and the movies, guys, where there's old couples and they sleep in the single beds or separate rooms? Stop and think about it. It's not like these relationships were just so happy, right? But we put them as relationship goals for longevity. But I really believe, like I say, that we're in the middle of a revolution. Do you think that the focus should be then to not get married in the first place? Stephen, Whew. You really want my answer to that, Stephen? I think that we are now living in a time that unless you find someone who is truly, truly compatible with you and loves you the way you love them, and you're both committed to doing your work, I believe that marriage and long-term committed relationships is the most difficult relationship you're ever going to be in your whole entire life. Do I think that everybody should be married? No. Do I think that everyone should want to be married? No. I think if you're someone who really knows yourself and you know that you don't want the responsibility that comes along with having a marriage, which a lot of it is required of you, a lot. It's a lot of maturity. It's a lot of responsibility, right? And if you know you don't want that, then I think it's important for you to be honest about that with yourself. Because if you keep trying to tell yourself what you're supposed to do, or you should do, or what's normal, or what's socially acceptable, things like that, because you're trying to fit somebody else's, frame or model for success, I think you will find yourself in up a creek, because most marriages are not happy. Most marriages are not happy because most people are not happy with themselves, and most people are not healed. So you've got a lot of jacked up people in jacked up relationships and in jacked up marriages. And I think at the end of the day, Stephen, if we're really honest, you could be happier by yourself, or you could be happier having companionship in our now modern society without all of the legal ramifications and entanglements that come with a marriage contract. And I think that's a lot of choices that you guys are going to have to be making. I will honestly say that unless I had met Carrie, I would still be single. And I don't know that I would really be focusing on men dating at all. I would be focusing completely on my businesses. But I've already been married and have children, ladies. I will say that. I've already been married and had children. But I just never treated men and marriage as a top priority, as a single woman in my 30s, especially because I'd already been married. I think we're going to continue to see lesbianism as a trend. I think you have a lot of women who are beginning to opt out of men because of how difficult, because of everything that I talk about, that I shine the light on, right? I think we're going to continue to see divorce rates that are skyrocketing and high. I think we're going to continue to see more and more people choosing to be single, because you have a right to make that choice. And it doesn't mean that you have to be lonely. It doesn't mean, right, that you're alone. It just means you're choosing not to enter into, such a large commitment of your life, your money, right? I think that we're seeing a lot more men and women deciding that they don't want to be married. Yeah. And I think that where it gets tricky is because of children, right? Ladies, you're not the only one who wants children. Men want children too. And that's where when it comes time to say, wait, I want to be married because I want children, because it's about legacy, it's about all of this. But we have to understand that marriage is still a contract. It's a legal contract. I deal with some of my VIP coaching clients are more mature individuals who have a lot to lose inside of a marriage, right? There's financial concerns when it comes to signing your name on the dotted line without a prenup. And ladies, you have to consider these issues too, because it's not just men who have to think about these issues. If you are a person of wealth, you have to protect yourself as well, because not all these relationships or marriages are going to last. And you can go into it with the best intentions, But if you have a net worth of $5 million, are you willing to give $2.5 million to someone when you're in your 40s just because you married them and it doesn't work? And even if it's not your fault. See, now you start understanding men. Start understanding how men feel and have felt for years. Like, wait a minute, right? She could just decide she doesn't want to be with me. She could just decide she's not happy and leave me and take my children and take half my money, and there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing. That's scary, and that's risky in our modern times. And it's just as risky for you ladies who have any amount of net worth or assets and investments also. It's just as risky for you. Real talk. You said, yes, I got to watch my bag. Yes, men want children. Men do want children, and they don't want baby mamas. They really do want a family. But you guys, navigating all of this has become very complicated. Stephen said, that saddens me a little bit. I didn't grow up with married parents, grew up in an abusive household. I value marriage very much. Ooh, Stephen, your inbox is about to blow up. Stephen's inbox is about to blow up. Stephen believes in marriage, y'all. Stephen wants to be married, right? Stephen, and I get it. I didn't grow up in an abusive family. I grew up with two parents, right? Sadly, I got married and ended up in divorce twice, right? Like, no one gets married with that intention. You're doing things from the best intentions that, you know, from what you currently know. You don't know any better. You're just doing the best you can. And then you end up divorced, you know? And so, Stephen, you can find. Now, it's a lot less complicated if you don't have a lot of money. Lot less complicated, guys, if you don't have a lot of money. You know, like, you can literally, Carrie and I both have said that we both had a prayer that we would meet someone that was really, truly, you know, for us before we really blew up. We both had that prayer. And we both met each other when we both had just come through a really bad divorces, bad situations. And so we were on the downside of our financials, the downside of everything, credit, money, everything. So when we got married, we were both kind of like at the same place. And that was a blessing for us. That was, we actually had asked God for that. Like, you want to know that the person you're with really loves you, not just your money or the benefits of you, right? So we both got that. But if you're already someone who's, you know, got a certain amount of wealth and a certain amount of assets, it's like, it's tricky. Tricky. It's so easy to partner when you don't have much on both sides. Yes, Brittany, that is the God's honest truth. Miss K, I agree with you, Stephen. It's sad. It is sad, guys. You know, I try to just keep it as real with you as possible because I want to paint a real picture for you so that you go in eyes wide open in these situations, right? That you learn how to vet, slow down. There's a lot at risk. We're not living in our grandparents' times and our parents' times, guys. Things have changed for the good and the bad. There's a lot of good, but it's also some of it's bad. Some of it's become so much more hard and complicated than it used to be. But we can't put the cat back in the bag, right? There's no going back. There's no way to go back. It is what it is. So it's up to you to educate yourself, work on you, and begin to navigate this stuff with a certain level of savviness, a certain level of intelligence, so that you are going into things eyes wide open. You're asking the right questions. Frustration is trying to marry someone who has lost half their wealth to ex-wife and now they are broke with you. Listen. That is a real life modern topic. That is a lot of people are going through. I had all this money when I was married to my ex, guys. I lost all my money, lost all my business, lost my credit, lost everything. And now here I was single and don't have all of those benefits coming into a relationship. And then I'm a woman. So it's like, men don't necessarily expect you to have all that. But it's just a whole different perspective, a whole different place you're dating from. And there are men out here who have lost everything or lost half or had to liquidate, for these divorces and stuff, ladies. And it's a mess. And that's why you also have people who are in unhappy relationships. Guess what some of the longest relationships, longest marriages there are? Wealthy couples who have built wealth together who don't have a prenup. Those are some of the longest marriages out here right now because they're not happy together, but to get a divorce means they're going to lose so much money. The man won't leave because those businesses he built while he was married to her, she'll get half of everything. And he has to literally be willing to liquidate or lose everything he's built over that entire time that he was with her. And ladies, then you wonder why men are like so slow when it comes to this marriage stuff. Like, And you can say, oh, I'm different. I'm a good woman. Well, the Barracudas say they're good women too. The users and gold diggers talk just like us. I'm just telling you what I know. The users sound just like good people. Jazzy says, but I'm willing to take that chance again to find love and have a family of my own. Carrie and I did it. We took another chance on love, guys. All right, so the healing course is coming tomorrow. I think we're going to release it open it for enrollment because it's coming like about the 3rd week of May. We're going to start class. So the healing course is coming. Make sure you sign up so you can do your work with the popes. We love you guys. Listen, I got to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten all day. I'm starving. My head is hurting. I'm going to go spend time with my baby. We're going out of the country next week for my birthday, but I'll be coming live from wherever we're at. It's a surprise, so I don't know where I'm going, but I'm excited. It's a complete surprise. Like, I'm getting on an airplane and everything, guys, and don't know where I'm going. So it's going to be like so super excited. I think he might be more excited than me. He's like completely surprising me. So I'll be checking in from wherever I'm at, to let you guys know where Mr. Pope took me. All right. Love you guys. Blessings in abundance. I'll see you tomorrow for our live, and make sure you get ready for the healing course that's coming tomorrow. Okay. All right. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.